Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Overcoming Graduation with Brian Drury, a show where I work to teach you everything I wished I had known about life to help you graduate to the next level in your own. This is another episode of The Morning Commute, where I take my drive to work in the morning to share a short but powerful message with you to help you kick your day off on the right foot. Today's message is this: the world is falling apart. I hear this all the time. I hear it an unfortunate amount, that the world's falling apart. The world's going to shit, things are fucked up, everyone's messed up, and typically when I hear this from people, it's and let's be honest, when I feel that in moments, I really work to not get caught up in a negative state to the point where I overgeneralize and blanket everything as being bad or good. I try to celebrate the good. I try to acknowledge but not focus on the bad. But listen, guys, we're all human, so it happens. But typically when I hear this from others and I'm paying attention, you can hear this kind of defeated emptiness. This idea or attitude of what is the point? Because look at the horrible things that people are doing. Look at the horrible atrocities people are capable of. And it just keeps happening. And I want everybody listening, I want you to really think about this fact, is that I was just listening to a Joe Rogan, I believe he's talking to Aubrey Marcus podcast, and they were talking about how we are more drawn to the negative, that beauty in the world is not so in our face. I believe it was Aubrey Marcus said, the crazy, the chaos, the intense, the dark, that jumps out at you, that launches, that thrusts, that imposes. But the beauty is much more peaceful and calm and sitting and waiting. They talked about just being in nature. An explosion is bright and violent and crazy and intense. But the beauty in nature, the beauty in people, the peace, the quiet, the gentleness, it doesn't come at you in the same way, and therefore, if you don't actively seek it out, you will default to what gets thrown at you. And in the world we live in, especially in places like the United States or developed countries, what gets thrown at you is the chaos, the crazy, the insane, the dark. Which is not to say we shouldn't know about or shouldn't acknowledge, but when it's all we consume, is the only thing we see, that's when it becomes a problem, guys, is when we start to assume that our Facebook feed is the way the world is, especially if you haven't traveled at all, if you haven't exposed yourself to anything else in the world, if you haven't taken what your perception is and challenged it. You just see a couple news stories and you go, man, things are going to shit. Because we all do it to a point, we all do it to an extent, but how much do you question it and push back? How much do you look at it and go, you know what, nah, I don't want to believe this, so let me see if I can find contrary evidence. Proof that things aren't nearly as bad as this is making it seem. Because, guys, the unfortunate reality, we do have dark shit. We have dark things that happen. And especially with things like shootings, which have been much more prevalent recently. People see another mass shooting, another shooter opens fire, and they go, oh my God, the world is dangerous, everything is uncertain, and so they use that as justification to not live their life or to stay in their bubble or to just turn off from the world and start hating the world. What I challenge people to do, and what I challenge myself to do, is find examples of the good, because right now, the way things go on the news and in general media, the bad, the chaos, the Kardashians had a big fight and started a riot in a restaurant and people are fighting and killing and there's war, that's what's going to just get thrown at you. And it's like so many things. If you just sat on the couch, what will come to you is being out of shape. It will be having pain and health problems as a result of the inactivity. But if you go seek out challenge and struggle, and you seek out growth, even though it's hard, because anybody who goes to the gym, anybody who's gone to the gym, anybody who wants to go to the gym knows that it comes with its own challenges. But one of my coaches, Nicholas Bailey, always said that we choose our consequences. Like, either decision you make there's going to be consequences. So we're the ones actively choosing what those are going to be. There's consequences with sitting on the couch. There's consequences with going to the gym. There's sacrifices either way. So when it comes to the way you perceive the world, if you really want to tell me the world's falling apart, and your justification for this is a news article that you saw, it's something you saw online, and oftentimes it's not even something you read, it's what your friend told you happened in a country somewhere else or in a different state. If you want to tell me, if you want to blame politicians and this stuff, I'll say, okay, if you're going to give me that, give me an example of something equally powerful, good. Go seek out an example that is so inspiring and beautiful that it helps to balance that in your mind. That you go, well, this is fucking atrocious, but look at this. This is incredible. I mean, the fact that someone could care this much, that someone could love this much, that they could be hurt that much and overcome that to bring so much love and joy, that's incredible. That's unbelievable. Those stories tend to be the ones that really resonate with us the most, when people take pain and use it as a way to help. When people take this horrible struggle, this terrible thing, this painful experience, and they say, I'm not going to let that make me bitter. When you see a Holocaust survivor write about peace and acceptance, when you see Gandhi, when you see these people that we emulate that have gone through so much, that have been through the ringer and have experienced all kinds of human hate, and they turn around and go, yeah, and I'm going to still love. And guys, nobody said it would be easy. Nobody said that there wouldn't be any challenges or adversity to overcome, to be happy, to love, to share, to grow. But that's what makes it worth it. Like so many things, you don't find most people celebrating being able to breathe or celebrating being able to see every day. Because we just accept it as, it's just, well, that's just reality for me. It's not for everybody, but we go, well, yeah, no, that's normal. I shouldn't celebrate it because it's given. And it could be taken away at any point. You could lose your sight today. All kinds of crazy shit could happen. You could lose an arm. You could lose things that you believe are guaranteed. You could lose an important person in your life. But we don't celebrate it because we're too busy focusing on the negative shit. And I'm not saying this is a judgment. This is more of a self-critique and a self-check. Because I get caught up, and my mentor Sean Stevenson says that when people are sad, miserable, depressed, you name it, they're focused on what they don't have, don't want, and don't like. And you look at the world, and there's war, and there's terrible people, and there's liars, and there's cheaters, and look at these statistics and how many people cheat in romantic relationships, and the world is scary and bad, and I should just shut off. So the happiest people focus on what they do have, what they do want, and what they do like. Man, look at the beautiful people in the world. Look at these amazing acts of heroism. Look at this person who's rehabilitating street dogs for no reason other than they care so much and they want the animals to be happy and they love them. Look at these examples of parents making sacrifices for their kids. Look at these examples of the old man waiting for his wife in the airport with flowers, and he's dressed to the nines because that's the old school way. That's how he's always done it, and he's been doing it since they were in their 20s, since he first met her. And you know what? The cynic in my brain goes, yeah, Brian, well, how does that fucking balance war and all the terrible shit that goes on? I was a great cynic. All right, let's play this game. Let's do it. Why do we defend our desire to hate? And why do we defend our desire to be right about the shitty state of the world? Versus why can't we embrace and engage the desire in us to demonstrate the world's magic, wonder, and beauty? I think it was Aubrey Marcus also in this interview who said that that our struggle is when we're not in the now. Our struggle is when we're focusing on a past that we can't change and a future that we can't control. Can't control everything. We can control us, but beyond that, that's it. So we stress about other people's responses, about the world, about the economy. Being present now and something I've heard several people talking about. My mentor, Joe Rogan, Aubrey Marcus, Jocko Willink, you name it. About having a mission. And so, if you're worried about the world and the state of the world, I say do something about it. And you go, well, I can't stop wars. I'm not saying that. I'm saying find a way to quiet the noise and fight the war that's going on inside of you to create your happiness, to find your joy, to find your peace. Because the more you do that, the more benefit you do the people in your life, whoever you interact with. And the more they're benefited by your existence, the more they will spread that. This has a multiplier effect. Think how much one happy person, even if you only met them once, has changed your life or blown you away or amazed you with the joy that they share. Let's start with ourselves. Let's start inside. I've had a lot of intense, heavy days recently, a lot of mentally dark, mentally serious. Something I've learned a lot about is we have to embrace both our light and our dark, because there is strength and power and clarity that comes from both, and we have to acknowledge both because they exist in all of us. But on those dark days, I've been working at my desk, doing Excel spreadsheets, answering emails, and what I've needed to do is put on motivational stuff in the background. Speeches, podcasts. I've needed that more than other times. Tired, exhausted, out of it, beating myself up. So I've needed that extra boost, and I've gone out and sought it out, and that's helping me through. And I reach out to people that help me, and I reach out to resources, and I find the things that help me be at my best. I find the things that help me quiet the inner demons and celebrate the voice that's celebrating and saying life is fucking beautiful. And look at all these examples. Because I tend to, when I'm in these states, pay a lot more attention to the negative voice, trying to focus on all my flaws, everything I've ever fucked up, and why the world's fucked up and everything's falling apart. But we can condition and change our inner dialogue. So I want you to realize this was a huge realization for me, that our inner dialogue is not out of our control. We can't necessarily stop thoughts, but we can control our reaction and response to those thoughts and how we interpret possibility and challenge. So, the world's not falling apart, guys. And this is coming from someone who has also traveled to a lot of those places where they say the world's falling apart. And I went to the most dangerous city in the world in San Pedro Sula, Honduras, and saw a bunch of amazing, good, beautiful people trying to make better lives for them and their families. Is there crazy shit with the cartels and violence and crooked cops and stuff there? Absolutely. Do we have stuff like that here? Absolutely. But the great majority of people want a better world, want to create a better world. They just need leaders to step up and show them a way that they can contribute and show them how. So, today in your life, where can you challenge the negative voice, the negative dialogue, the overall dialogue, and where when someone at work says, oh, I can't believe this, can you believe it, the weather and this, can you offer something different? Can you be brave enough to be the pattern interrupts for people and be brave enough to face if people don't want that because they're just so used to being negative? And you can step away and remove the toxic people from you so that you can be around the people who want to celebrate life too. What is one thing you can do? Or are you willing to commit today to catch your negative thoughts, and every time you have a negative one, offer it a positive one? Offer yourself a positive one. It doesn't have to be the massive and monumental. Small things make a huge difference. I love you guys. Thank you all for listening today. If you would like to subscribe to this podcast, you can do so on iTunes or on Stitcher. If this was of value to you, it would be a huge honor for me if you would share it out with your friends and following and get it out to people that need it. Send it directly, send in a direct message. Mail them a card and say, listen to episode such and such on the Overcoming Graduation podcast. Those things help not only me get the word out, but they help people who listen. And if it helped you, it has the opportunity and the ability to help others. And if you want to reach out to me directly for any reason, feedback for the show, examples of ideas for things you'd want me to cover, you think would make a good morning commute, or people you think would be good interviewees, reach out to me at brian@overcominggraduation.com. I love you guys. Have a great day. Go out and really spend this day finding all the beauty in yourself and all the beauty in the world.